In this problem, you are given an equation and you're asked to complete the following 4 things. State whether it opens up or down, decide if it's going to be wider or narrower than the parent function, find the vertex, and state if the vertex is a maximum or minimum. So I'm going to start with number A. A is determine whether it opens up or down. So in order to decide how a graph opens, we need to look at our A value. So it's in standard form of ax squared plus bx plus c. And I can see that A is 2. Because it's a positive 2, I can tell you that my graph opens up. Now I'm going to actually jump down to part D next. So if I look at part D, it says to state if our vertex would be a minimum or a maximum. So I'm going to draw a little image of a parabola. If parabola opens up, it doesn't matter where this parabola would be on your graph, but no matter what, as long as it opens up, our vertex would be down here way on the bottom. That means our vertex, if a graph opens up, is a minimum, always. Minimum. Next, I'm going to look at part B. Part B says to determine if it's wider or narrower. Now, we've talked about this before. That's how we find looking at our A value. If A is a fraction, then it's going to be wide. If A is a number greater than 1, then it will be narrow. And if A is 1, then it will be normal. Now, this is true if they're positive or negative. In any case, positive or negative 1 is normal. And so we can look at our A. We see it's a 2, so that'd be greater than 1, or it could be a negative 2. And that means that our graph is going to be very narrow. If you don't know, you could always graph it to double check. And that just leaves us with part C. I'm going to switch to red. And part C says to find our vertex. And when we find our vertex, we have to find the ordered pair that represents our vertex. And remember, the x value of our vertex is the opposite of b over 2a. And so I'm going to go ahead and calculate that. The opposite of 3 over 2 times 2, which is negative 3/4. So my x value of my vertex is negative 3/4. I then plug that in for my x's, and I can solve for the y. So y equals 2 times negative 3/4 squared plus 3 times negative 3/4 minus 4. Notice I'm being careful with parentheses. And when you simplify, you should get that y equals negative 41 over 8. If you want to change it to a mixed number or decimal, that's totally fine, as so is negative 41/8.